Welcome to Facebook for the Blind, your look at the downfall of Western civilization through the best memes we can find each week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the week we like to celebrate Facebook for the Blind, a show for the visually and Facebook impaired. I am your humble host, Eric. How's everybody doing? Good. Let's get to the news. It has been quite the wild week since the last time we all got together. It is Martin Luther King Day, of course, which Andre Henry reminds us. Once again, it's that time of the year we pretend Dr. King never said things like this. And we have a picture of Dr. King saying, capitalism does not permit an even flow of economic resources. With this system, a small privileged few are rich beyond conscience, and almost all others are doomed to be poor at some level. That's the way the system works. And since we know that system will not change the rules, we are going to have to change the system. Yeah, we don't normally hear that. We hear about dreams and stuff like that. So, little bit different there. Hey, in big news, TikTok stars have now made more money than America's top CEOs. Last year, some TikTok stars, such as Charlie D'Amelio, brought in $17.5 million last year. And her sister Dixie brought in $10 million. And that is why Facebook for the Blind is going to become TikTok for the Blind. And we are switching platforms as soon as possible. One of the other things that happened, you probably remember where you were. There was an enormous undersea volcano explosion in Tonga. And for the first time that I can remember in my lifetime, we got these really clear satellite shots all over the place, video from boats all around. Absolute insanity. Really, really insane to see. And still waiting on word for if everybody is okay, because I still have not seen good updates on that at all. In other news, DirecTV has declined to renew OAN's contract after the NAACP met with AT&T in October to urge them to drop this crazy right-wing network. And they did. In Chicago, the Chicago Public Schools have students staging a walkout on Friday for better COVID-19 safety measures in schools. I asked my daughter if she was one of the ones that walked out, and she said, "No, I'm lazy." There's quite a bit of pushback on Joe Rogan this week, and it was among my most engaged posts. Doctors have urged Spotify to stop enabling Joe Rogan to damage the public trust in scientific research. Spotify is responsible for allowing COVID misinformation to thrive on its platform. And then I got all these Joe bros all over my thing saying, he just asked questions, man. I was like, he's a lunkhead with a huge audience. And he says things like, take ivermectin and God knows what else. Anyway, in other ridiculousness, a Florida Republican who was defeated by 59 percentage points in a congressional special election won't concede. And if you're thinking you're seeing a rerun, that's because you did. You are. It's a great strategy. Just don't concede. Just hang on and file lawsuits and just say things that are really brilliant, like, we also have some stuff coming out that we've recently discovered, he told the TV station, without disclosing any developments that could possibly change the election's outcome. Again, beaten by 59 percentage points.
Yeah.
Super memorable moment. A pig's heart was transplanted into a human being for the first time, which is, pretty freaking crazy and amazing. And speaking with humans that have pig's hearts, Republicans and conservatives who tried to make the case that the January 6th insurrection didn't meet the legal standards for sedition should be forced to eat their words after the Department of Justice handed down seditious conspiracy indictments against members and the founder of the Oath Keepers. That's right. And a lot of people
10 of them.
10.
I mean, Jesus. Yeah, there it is.
And here's the photo of the Oath Keepers leader and the founder, who's there with his eye patch, which at first you might think, you're like, oh, that looks kind of cool, until you find out it was done with an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle, and he shot his own eye out. True story. Look it up. Now, you notice here at the top of my screen, I'd like to point out that I have a little news bias indicator. It's from Ground News, and it shows all the coverage of the story. So we can see that this was covered by the left by about 44%, by the center by about 43%, and apparently only 13% of the story's coverage was in the right wing. They don't like this story. They don't want to cover this story. But, that kind of censorship-y stuff goes both ways. So here's something, if you were in your coastal elite liberal bubbles, you probably missed. I missed it. The Illinois, up in near the Quad Cities, Illinois School District is offering school Satan Club, after-school Satan Club at the elementary school. And this was passed on to me by my right-wing Christian friends, of course. Here's our wonderful little flyer. Hey, kids, let's have fun at after-school Satan Club. And it is everything you can imagine there at Jane Addams Elementary. Notice on the ground news coverage bias up here at the top, we got 15% of liberal sources covered the story, but 77% of right-wingers covered the story. And I happen to be talking to some evangelical Christians about this type of thing. And I said, well, here's the deal. If you let them know that you're triggered, you're going to get Satan clubs everywhere. I mean, they already exploded over the Satanic Temple installing the baby Baphomet at the Illinois State Capitol. So right next to the nativity scene, we got a nice baby Baphomet for the holidays installed by the Satanic Temple. And as previously covered on this show, the sober faction of the Satanic Temple is offering religion-free non-pseudoscience without any superstitious dogma for your Alcoholics Anonymous club for after school. And they're just going to keep...
I got to jump in here. Yeah. I think this is actually really important. I'm really grateful that the Satanic Temple does this, because the fact of the matter is a lot of people really struggle to find sobriety with AA because it requires this belief in some higher power. So AA was really started by white Christian men. And so it's, of course, built around the needs of white Christian men. So, I think it's actually great. Satanic Temple is, putting a sober faction together where you don't have to believe in God.
I just think...
Did we lose Eric?
I beg your pardon?
There you are. I didn't see you, and then all of a sudden you popped back in.
Oh, so sorry. Well, I just want to keep reminding people that if they keep pushing to put the 10 Commandments in courthouses, then the Satanic Temple is going to keep pushing to put demonic sculptures in all of our Capitol buildings. And I just keep asking them, which one would you rather have? A complete separation of church and state, or do you want to look at baby Baphomet every Christmas? Because that's how you get baby Baphomet. Not just that. I can see it when Democrats really figure out they're triggering people with this. People are going to say, you're trying to get Satan in schools. And they'll be like, yes, we're going to replace your mascot. Great big furry Satans handing out candy to your kids. What are you serving in Sunday school? You better step up your game. It's going to take a bit more than Veggie Tales. That's what I'm talking about. And that was the news for January 17th, 2022 here on Facebook for the Blind. I am joined by my lovely co-host and wonderful memester, Quiet Michael Labune. And I understand that you have some memes for us that are funny.
I do have some memes for you. That much is true. Not going to start out funny, though. First, we have to talk about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. At Uche_Blackstock tweeted, although in death he became one of the most revered figures in U.S. history, for the entirety of the 39 years that King lived and breathed, there wasn't a single day when the majority of white Americans approved of him. The only thing I really hate about Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is people fucking whitewashing his legacy. I've actually even seen people, well, we'll get to it. So that was a tweet by at Uche_Blackstock, but she's quoting Michael Harriot. The Atlantic quotes Ibram X. Kendi, who wrote a piece today in The Atlantic. The quote is, King's nightmare of racism is being presented as King's dream. Those who distort King's dream are now also distorting critical race theory and distorting critical race theory to distort King. And here, Ibram X. Kendi on Twitter subtweets somebody, Mike Collins, Georgia, who says Martin Luther King Jr. would support banning critical race theory. MLK Jr. said to judge others by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Notice how people on the right never remember that it's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Anyway, Ibram X. Kendi comments, whites, it must frankly be said, are not putting in similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance, end quote. That's MLK Jr. wrote in 1967. Okay, and for the record, this is a great point, because Ibram X. Kendi just did the same thing, and I'm sure it's because Twitter has a certain number of characters that you can use. So forgive my earlier criticism. And he continues the quote, "It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn." So this is complete fucking nonsense to think that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would support banning critical race theory. And this one to me was the worst. This is the FBI. Jesus memes for liberation. Screen grabbed this, and the FBI tweeted, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? This MLK Day 2022 and every day, the FBI remains dedicated to service and committed to protecting our communities." When you know the history of the FBI and what they did to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it hurts to read this shit. And then Jesus Memes for Liberation, they superimposed a picture of a black man who I do not recognize smiling, but then on Instagram, whenever you swipe to the next page, it's him singing a very, very poorly recorded song. He just says over and over and over, "Why you lying?" Tennessee Holler retweeted Kevin Cruz, who says, "I too like to honor my heroes by doing everything I can to invalidate their life's work." And then you see Kristen Cinema, who says, "Rest in power, my friend, my hero," after she just, this is standing next to John Lewis, after she just voted against the John Lewis bill. And crazy that this happened on Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, but Seize the Memes put up, CNN is reporting that breaking, the world mourns as diplomat Henry Kissinger, 96 years old, found alive. So devastating news for the world.
Love it. Man, I tell you, that's one of those things that makes you believe when the good die young. You're like, yeah, Kissinger's going to be going 120 years.
I don't know. I don't have anything to say about this. It's just a picture of Jerry Seinfeld, like circa, I think probably like 92, and he's got his arms folded, but somebody has painted him with like the Joker, like Jared Leto era Joker makeup and green hair, and then put a tattoo across his forehead that says "Hello, Newman." It just upset me, and so I saved it. Nice. At Dorsal Stream tweets, "A snake is just a bag of throat." Wow. And it's so weird. This will be my last one for this round. This is Glow Fuck Yourself. And the meme says, Doritos Locos Tacos have lasted longer than the Confederacy did. There's a picture of Doritos Locos Tacos, 8 years it's been around, and then a picture of the rebel flag, 4 years. Doritos Locos Tacos have lasted longer than the Confederacy.
Very well done. Very well done. Okay, on to the segment that we like to call the Wholesome Round, but that is strictly branding. So we're clear. This first one is from Dave King, friend of the show, Dave King. If you're not following Dave King, you are missing out. He reposts Anna Bramson saying, or Ian Abramson. Oh my God. At Ian Abramson. My God. When you compare the size of a gummy worm versus a gummy bear, it starts to paint a horrific picture of the gummy universe. Thoroughly agree with. This next one's posted on the Facebook for the Blind, a weekly memecast group page. And if you're not following Facebook for the Blind, a weekly memecast page, you're really messing out. Okay, so Catherine at BLM at Writer Reb says, "But what about 2 weeks' notice?" And the response is, "Sure, 2 weeks from now, you're going to notice I haven't been there for 2 weeks." I like that. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, that's dope.
This next one I found, and I just have questions, but I didn't dig any deeper. This is a sign from the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, and it has a werewolf and mushrooms on it saying, "Do not feed hallucinogens to the werewolves." I have a lot of questions about this.
My first question, believe it or not, is why not?
Why not? Sure.
So what happened?
Next thing you know, he's on your couch and he keeps talking about the economy. This next one got quite a bit of traffic, and I enjoyed it. This is South Park character Stan's dad. Oh gosh, what's his friggin' name again? Marsh. Anyway, and he's saying, "I'm not having a glass of wine. I'm having 6." You see 6 glasses of wine with little labels, and it says, "It's called a tasting, and it's classy." And, a friend of mine says, it's not as classy when I'm having them on the couch. And I'm like, well, you need the little labels. I borrow the embosser from work to class it up. You can try that little life hack. Okay, next. I want to share something fun because it's nice. This is from a friend of the show, Donna Nelson. If you're not following Donna Nelson, you must now. Life can be wild, wacky, weird, and wonderful if you let it. She was involved in a very minor car accident this week with an incredibly kind, loving, intelligent, and unique grad student. A carload of equally kind, loving, intelligent, and unique individuals pulled over to offer their contact info as witnesses should we need them. Long story short, I'm going to abbreviate this. That cool grad student who caused the accident took them all to lunch and bought a cake. It's labeled Happy Accident. And Donna says that, she never had kids, but now she has a whole group of grad students that she can cook for and take care of, and she loves them all. And I just wanted to pass on one happy story from the Facebooks. So there you go for the Wholesome Round. Next up, comedian friend of the show, Steve Hofstetter. You're not following Steve Hofstetter, you missed out. Martin Luther King Day, when people who spend their entire lives trying to erase the progress he has achieved, post quotes, not understanding he was talking about them. Oh boy, did this
nice.
This caused such just a shitstorm, especially this one guy, the top post here, Sean Labriola, who says, "Till you post an actual link to said law, you're just another celebrity running your mouth. Hashtag back it up." So Steve Hofstetter posts several different things from ABC News, from the National Post, from CBS Austin. Says, "That's just what I found in 15 seconds. Please have someone read those to you."
Damn.
I know. That was like, I'm stealing that technique. Okay.
Yeah, it's a sick burn, dude.
Oh God, Steve Hofstetter is really great. He used to own a comedy club over there in Indianapolis. I do not know if he still does, but if he's ever over there, I think I'd like to pay a visit and shake hands.
Oh yeah, I almost had it, man. The name of that club. It's like in
Is it Crackers?
Oh fuck. It doesn't matter.
Attic?
What'd you say?
Comedy Attic, maybe?
No, it's like the name of it is like a take on like the sound of laughter, right? Like ha-has or giggles or some fucking thing. I just can't think of it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, he's over there at the, Smoking Joke in Indianapolis, and I like him quite a bit. If you haven't followed Steve Hofstetter, no kidding, go ahead and do that. And my last one for the Wholesome Round, round 1, wrapping it up. Denatra Philpott Boyd Brown, friend of the show. And if you're not following Denatra Philpott Boyd Brown, you're missing out. It's a conversation. Her, tell me something you've never told anyone else. Me, whispering, I think the owl people are already among us. Her, who? Me, holy shit.
That's
wholesome.
Yeah, it's really fucking dumb.
Why we have a round specifically for dumb.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not sure what's coming up next. Sweet. All right, we go. Trash can ball reposted. Bill Gates tweeted on January 9th at 10:13 a.m. Bill Gates tweeted computer. And every time this happens to a baby boomer, I always wonder what the fuck they think they're doing. Like, he didn't know he was tweeting this. There's no way he meant to tweet this.
Right.
But like, what did he think he was doing? Googling it? Like, anyway. Trash can Paul. But this is like a take on one of those flyers that they have for lawyers, these like ambulance chasers. And it's a picture of a lawyer-looking guy wearing a really boring suit and boring tie, and he's smiling. He just looks really forgettable. And it says in big red letters, like impact font, injured? And then underneath it, it says, me too. My tummy hurts. It's never been this bad before. I can't be brave about it anymore. Need someone to get me some Pepto-Bismol or I might not make it. Charlie Bungus, attorney at law, asterisk, please help me with my tummy ache. 1-800 tummy hurty. Like,
so
every time I see something this ridiculous, all I can think is like, why did someone do this? There's 2 panels, stills like screen grabs from SpongeBob SquarePants. In the first one, he's really angry, and in the second one, he's just about to cry. He's biting his bottom lip, and his hands are folded in his lap. And it says, "When you start treating them how they treat you, but then you feel bad." I've been there, SpongeBob. Nasty feminism. Friend of the show, Nasty feminism. If you're not following Nasty feminism, you're definitely missing out. They subtweet Daiwan Tatro saying this headline is outrageous and misleading. 301 of the 458 died of COVID, probably because police have fought vaccine mandates all across the country. Counting COVID deaths as line of duty deaths is pure police propaganda, hashtag copaganda. And then we see what he's talking about. He subtweets Fox 28 Columbus, who reports that 458 U.S. officers died in the line of duty in 2021, highest since 1930.
Mm.
But the reality is 301 of them died of COVID, and they're calling it line of duty deaths. So we're actually talking about a way lower number, right? What would that be? 157?
Oh yeah.
Like, Jesus, it's so clearly propaganda.
I've had to explain this to many people that, police is not even in the top 10 most deadly jobs in the United States. I mean, garbage men.
Yeah, people don't get that.
Right. A lot more often.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But it's hard for us to even conceive of that because of propaganda. I mean, really. Sure. I'll start with Dragnet, interestingly. Anyway, at DK, I don't know if this is DK Knight 10K or D Knight spelled with a K, 10K. Either way, friend of the show says, I had a conversation about 9/11 earlier about how I'd never forget where I was and how I watched that second plane fly into the tower and how it made me feel. For me, January 6th is like that, but worse, because I don't remember half of America rooting for the fucking planes.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
Hit it on the head.
Damn. Yep.
Hit it.
Why is friend of the show? Oh man, this is terrible. This is the show, the game Among Us, except that they've been given human sex organs and there's what looks like ejaculate all over everything. Glow Fuck Yourself has a picture of a really dirty Chevy Blazer, and someone has written on the back in like that windshield car like paint, it says, good thing the government didn't tell you to wear a butt plug. What they don't understand is that this does not offend liberals. Liberals read this and they're like, I fucking wish they would have. A butt plug would be better than a mask. We don't like wearing these things. Like, oh, this fucking cracked me up. But Glow Fuck Yourself, the funniest part about it is they make butt plugs, and so they commented like, don't worry fam, we got you if the government tries it. I think this is from Rick and Morty. I can never remember which one's which. Who is this? Is this Rick or Morty? It's the kid, the little kid. Morty. And there's 2 panels. In the first one, he's sleeping, and in the second one, the light is on, and he's awake, and he looks angry. And it says, when I randomly remember one of my shirts I haven't seen in a while. I'm just glad to know other people have that experience. Introverted Struggle at Introverted Struggle on Instagram. Friend of the show, absolutely hilarious. If you're not following him, you're missing out. Says, when you and your friend are a little different, but you make it work. And then you see in the picture, it's like an old-timey roller coaster, and it's black and white, and the person sitting in the front is wearing like a blazer and a tie and smiling, and the person sitting behind them is just the Grim Reaper. Trash Can Paul. But this meme says, to all those who live in cities and had never seen this, this is what a cow's egg looks like. And it's just hands holding eggs that are the size of, like, I don't know, maybe a volleyball.
Cantaloupe, yeah.
But you know, learn something new every day. I never saw a cow's egg before. So. Mike Drucker, at Mike Drucker, friend of the show. If you're not following Mike Drucker, you're definitely missing out. Has this picture of Josh Hawley, this iconic picture that I hope he never, ever, ever lives down. And it's him raising his fist to the terrorists, insurrectionists, fucking seditionists. He's raising his fist in solidarity as he walks into the Capitol building that they just ransacked, and somebody took a shit in the rotunda. He's raising his fist to him. And at Mike Drucker says, never forget the insurrection was encouraged by a bunch of fucking dorks. Like, I love it so much when somebody's getting roasted and the roast they choose is just to go like kindergarten. Like, it's because you never get past that. Like, yeah, Josh Hawley is a very, very dangerous fascist. Yes, he's a dangerous fascist with a lot of power. He's a white supremacist, dangerous fascist with a lot of power. And Mike Drucker's like, don't forget, he's also a fucking dork. Yeah. He's not cool. We should beat him up at recess.
Beat him up, take his lunch money. I agree.
All right, back to you, Eric.
All right, getting on to round two. And I have a penchant for guillotine memes. This is a picture of a guillotine. Little instruction manual says assembly and operating instructions, and under it, it's captioned "Build Back Better." Yeah, get that one right. Okay, it's simple. I know, I'm a simple man. All right, this next one's from Michael James Grassman, friend of the show, Michael James Grassman. If you're not following Michael James Grassman, you're missing out. Well, one of the most difficult choices I've ever had to make as a father has presented itself to me. My 2.5-year-old daughter absolutely cannot stand the sound of the drum set at our house. It causes her to have serious breakdowns and uncontrollable crying. We had to make the hard choice to remedy the situation. So if anybody has space and doesn't mind loud noises, my daughter only needs to be fed 3 times a day.
Right.
Loves watching Zootopia 4 times a day. Free to a good home.
Yep.
The latest incarnation of Scream is out in theaters now, Scream 5, and I've been hearing about it, and I just like this one. This one's from Unattributed, and if you're not following Unattributed, you're missing out, so please follow Unattributed. It's just the 3 girls in the car from Mean Girls saying, "Get in, loser. We're going to watch Scream 5," but they all have the Scream skeleton mask on. It's probably just funnier to me in my head. This one's for the open micers in the crowd. This one's actually in hashtag open mic memes. We have a very ugly, creepy dude labeled creepy dude in his 8th year of stand-up, and he is holding hands with a very put-together lady. He says, "Lady, 1 month in comedy." This one got a lot of traction.
Hey, wait. This is pretty important to know.
Yeah.
This is Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Kate Beckinsale.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought it was Pete Davidson.
Way hotter than Pete Davidson.
Yeah. That's Pete Davidson looking especially Pete Davidson, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's looking very fucking Pete Davidson for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the guys are just super jealous that he's getting these girls. That's all there is to it.
Well, this is a picture I printed out and put on my hope chest. All right, moving on to dumb things. Dave King, if you're not following Dave King, friend of the show, Dave King, you're missing out. This is just a poster for Elvis versus Cthulhu. Uncensored, uncut, unleashed. We have Elvis with a chainsaw fighting some kind of an octopus. It looks like a handbill for a concert. It says, "The king of rock and roll battles the great old one and a ghastly horde of cosmic horrors in the mythic ride." Elvis versus Cthulhu from Dave King. This next one is the standard take on the room on fire and a person sitting behind a coffee mug. Except this time he's got on a VR headset and he says, "This is fine." Captioned it, "This is so meta." You know, because of meta with the VR goggles. You get it. All right. Joe Rogan was finally getting mocked quite a bit this week, and I was enjoying every minute of it. I think this is one of my absolute favorites. It's a picture of Joe Rogan in a suit and tie behind the desk in the Oval Office, and it is captioned, "It is 2028. Joe Rogan is president of the USA. His podcast is the only form of media. Alex Jones is the foreign secretary, and doctors can only prescribe elk meat and DMT."
Jesus.
I like how Biden's dog is in the picture. It's just
he kept his dog.
It's a little detail. He kept the dog. Dog really likes the DMT. All right, second to last here. Friend of the show, Matt Brown. We miss you, Matt Brown. If you're not following Matt Brown, you're missing out. He reposts Ethan Jacobs' Law, saying, "Okay, doom scrolling is bad for you, but have you seen the quality of doom this week?" And
Nice.
Noah Silva de Lenardi is saying, "It's only doom if it comes from Mount Doom region of Mordor. Otherwise, it's just sparkling abject terror." Agreed. And my final round for this one, and I think this really speaks to us. This is on the Facebook for the Blind group page, Facebook for the Blind, a weekly memecast. You're not following Facebook for the Blind, a weekly memecast. You're missing out. This is from Brian Jansen saying, "Oh, you like Bad Boys? Well, sometimes I cite articles I've only skimmed." like you to notice that the Facebook for the Blind audience, this one really liked this one. There's 78 people reached.
Yeah.
A lot of engagements. We do like our properly cited citations. Even George.
I'll double check what journal it was posted in first, though. I'll tell you that.
I just love it. Even like when somebody's just posting like a cartoon ass joke, they're just like, "I haven't double checked to make sure that this is correct." But
yeah. So for my first meme of the final round before the post with the most, this is This American Left, friend of the show, and it has a picture of Donald Trump, and next to that is a picture of Joe Biden, and above Donald Trump they have a quote. He's saying COVID should be solved at the state level. That's Donald Trump. And then over Joe Biden, we have a quote, and it's COVID, they, them, should be solved at the state level, end quote, except the letters are in rainbow. There's a rainbow flag, a trans flag, coexist, and like Black Power fist all around the exact same fucking words.
Just a prettier farm.
Yeah.
That's boy. It really does kind of, when it's in rainbow with the they them in there, that kind of gets you in the heart. Kind of gets you.
Yeah. It's so much fucking lip service. So this made my day. So Brent Terhune, and that's Terhune, fucking hilarious comedian, friend of the show. If you're not following Brent Terhune, what the fuck are you doing online? He's holding up a bottle of piss, and he's smiling, and he puts as the caption of this photo of himself, urine therapy, urine, urine, urine therapy for COVID. This is retweeted by Katie Couric. Friend of the show, Katie Couric says, "What?" Because she obviously doesn't know his comedy. Now, the truth is, I only saw this because Brent Terhune took a screenshot of this and then retweeted that. He retweeted Katie Couric retweeting him. Brent Terhune, for those of you who don't know, you got to check him out. He plays this like stereotypical right-wing guy who's, rural American redneck. And he's usually holding a can of beer when he's yelling into the camera. One of my favorite is he's talking about Starbucks, and he says, it's he's mad about Happy Holidays, and he says it's Merry Christmas, not Adam and Steve. It's Merry Christmas, not Adam and Steve. So funny.
That's good.
He used to end every one of his little TikTok rants with "fuck the NFL and go Colts." Yeah, Brent Terhune, great friend of the show. At Cruz Kayne, Kayne, says, there is nothing I won't do to make sure the waiter likes me. I will sell out everyone at the table. Quote, I'm so sorry about them, end quote. Even if they're being totally normal, nothing matters more to me. I would give it all away. That resonates with me. This is a picture of the polar ice caps melting, and it says climate change is irreversible across the top, and at the bottom it says we need to fuck today. Listen, play the hand you're dealt. Jordan Peterson. This is 4 panels of somebody's photoshopped Jordan Peterson's face into this really crudely drawn cartoon. In the first panel, he's just scratching his chin, thinking, and it just says Jordan Peterson. In the next panel, he's hanging up a red curtain. In the third panel, he's painting monsters onto the curtain. And in the fourth panel, he's laying on the ground in the fetal position, screaming, and he's written white genocide and cultural Marxism over the monsters that he created. I thought this was just a nice recap of Jordan Peterson's career. The Dr. Ada Rhodes Short, friend of the show, says he knew too much, and then you look at the picture, and it is a huge Thomas the Tank Engine, the size of a train engine. It had to be a working one, on the back of a semi, and they put a cover over Thomas's face, so it looks like they put him in a plastic bag. Yeah, they bagged him. He knew too much. Blow fuck yourself. They were killing it this week. They say deodorants were created to solve a fake problem and thrived thanks to the patriarchy. And then they have an article here by Slate.com who says all natural deodorants are a scam. But honestly, antiperspirants are a scam too. So deodorants were created to solve a fake problem and thrived thanks to the patriarchy. Except UCKEMA replies, come to an anime convention and you will delete this. Yeah, this sounds like a man who knows the truth.
Guys,
all right. Woo, yeah, that's what I mean. This is Salad Dazed on Instagram. Friend of the show, punk rocker. Love him. What's up, Salad Dazed? There's 2 panels here. One is He-Man looking to the camera and talking to us. The next is He-Man jumping on some sort of a snowmobile and riding away. And when he's looking at us, he says, and remember, punks are nice people pretending to be bad. And hippies are bad people pretending to be nice. And he jumps on his snowmobile and says, until next time, friends.
It's one of my favorite formats.
Such a great format. It's such a great quote. Salad Dazed again. As this screen grab from Portlandia, and I don't know this actress or the character's name. I never watched the show. But she's yelling at someone with long hair, and she says, don't touch me. You're a dirty hippie, and you don't get punk at all.
Nice.
Feud between the punks and the hippies.
All
If
right.
it wasn't for marijuana, they would fight.
Truth. Dropping some truth bombs.
That's the one thing we can all agree on. We're weed's pretty cool though. Okay.
Well, and a lot of folks are scared of cops. That's another unifying thing I found. A lot of my friends are surprised to find out that a white guy is scared of cops. I'm like, yeah, I used to be a long-haired hippie. What, so I had a lot of, okay, I'm just going to move on. So 3rd round, here we go. Wrapping things up here. This is a simple cartoon and it is labeled Conspiracy Theory Awards. We see a man on stage getting a trophy, and he's very happy about it. Meanwhile, in the audience, the guy has got his hand up and he's whispering to his guy next to him, "It's rigged." Which I thought summed up quite a bit.
Yep.
Speaking of cults, I think this is funny. Friend of the show, Mike Ingram. If you're not following Mike Ingram, you're missing out. He says, and then in early 2022, I joined a cult, and he's posted Wordle score, and a whole bunch of folks dove on it. There's 45, tons of comments on here, but we've got, the typical Homer Simpson gif, with, join us here on the couch in front of the TV, one of us kind of a things. One of my favorite comments that responded back was from The Office 2 panel. It says, I've been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. It says, you have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader.
That's awesome.
And I got in late and was probably the last comment on the thread. And I just said, geez, Mike, if I'd known you were in the market for a cult, I would have sent you my brochure. And those of you who are at this show know the brochure I'm talking about. Thank you all very much for joining. Now, a big one going around this last couple of weeks has been the 10-year challenge. Lots and lots of people posting a picture of themselves from 10 years ago and a picture from today. And I got one of these wonderful memories from Facebook from a couple of years ago. 3 years ago here, where I'm reposting Kate O'Neill saying, me 10 years ago probably would have played along with the profile picture aging meme going around on Facebook and Instagram. Me now ponders how all this data could be mined to train facial recognition algorithms on age progression and age recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that every fucking time this trends. And it's always January, right?
Yeah. Now, we're all social creatures. We're all on this stuff. And honestly, if you begin to feel that you would like to participate, do what I do and post minimum wage and rent statistics. That's always fun. Also, here's one for you, Michael. 2,000-year challenge. We have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Oh. Yes. Go ahead and talk through it. Describe the meme. It's important.
We have Middle Ages, Renaissance painting, blonde-haired, very blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus, in the typical looking up pose with a little bit of a glow. And then on the right-hand side or left-hand side, we have an actual interpretation of what Jesus probably looked like as a Middle Eastern Jew 2,000 years ago. Posted by a friend of the show, Sam Husseini. And if you're not following Sam Husseini, you are missing out. Friend of the show, Sam Husseini, tremendous journalist, and he's got a heck of a sense of humor as well. Plus, he was one of the first to get banned from the Trump newsroom. So I was just like, well, if Trump doesn't like you, I like you. Okay, getting into the last few here. I have commented before that the librarians worry me, and I'm going to show you yet another couple examples here of why, since we are in the esoteric spiritual realm at this point. This is in Librarian Think Tank. Tiffany Messer-Bass has posted a 6-panel of 2 kids, and one says, you've never made a snow angel before? And the other kid shrugs, and she goes, it's easy. You just go like this. And she's waving her arms in the snow. And then she hops up and she says, see, now you give it a try. And she gestures at it. He gets down there. Boy, he's really got his tongue out the side of his mouth. He looks very distressed. And when he gets up, it's a pentagram. And then something has been summoned from the pentagram and is coming out of the fiery hells, and the children are running away.
It's awesome.
Which I thought was great. And you're like, oh, that's Eric, come on, that's not that demonic. I mean, why are you worried about the librarians? Oh, there's more. Librarian Think Tank Valerie Lynn posts this one. We have a kid who is drawing a pentagram on the ground and has got candles all around. And the demon is emerging and says, child, why have you summoned me? And she says, I need a friend. Look, little girl, I don't think that a friend to help hide bodies. And then we have a wide shot where there are bodies in the background.
God.
Okay, cool, I'm in. Posted by Wicca with a really cool font. Yeah, I'm telling you, once or twice, it's okay. But after a little while, I'm just saying, guys, can somebody check on the librarians? Seriously, I'm a little concerned. Okay. All right, last two of this set before we get to our post with the most. A lot of people talking about drinking urine because urine therapy was in the news. My God, we live in stupid times. Facebook for the Blind, a weekly meme cast. If you're not following them, blah, blah, blah. 2020, Joshua says. 2020, I can't believe I have to say this, but don't drink Lysol. 2021, I can't believe I have to say this, but don't take horse dewormer. 2022, I can't believe I have to, you know what? Fuck it. Drink pee. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, that's seriously me. When I heard that Republicans were drinking pee, I was like, you know what? Fucking help yourself. That's literally like the last thing I care about. Of everything you're doing, that's the least amount of harm. Keep drinking your piss.
I immediately posted, hey, don't forget to tell your conservative friends, Dr. Fauci says don't eat yellow snow.
Right.
And final one for this, my favorite of all, and again, posted in Facebook for the Blind, a weekly meme cast. This is from Midas Touch. It's a 2-panel. Dr. Fauci holding up a sign saying, don't drink urine. And Rand Paul with a double big gulp full of yellow liquid.
Rand Paul looking very, very rebellious, I might add.
Did I show you the picture of my dad with Rand Paul? And they're both smiling like they like each other.
Ew. No. Eric.
No, I'm sorry.
My favorite picture of your dad is that one that I have where he's all buff, doesn't have his shirt on.
You would like that one.
This is the final round. This is just the post with the most. And this was my post with the most this week. And it's a picture of Pete Davidson standing with Hillary Clinton, and she's touching his arm, and they're talking. And the caption says, honestly, good for her. So that's the first good news Hillary Clinton's gotten in a long time.
Well, freaking well done. All right. My post with the most, I really like this. Got over 26 engagements on it. Andrew Schiavone at A Schiavone says, I wish we could normalize having a first date where we run errands together. So if there's no chemistry, at least I got light bulbs and picked up my dry cleaning.
That's awesome. It should be something you're going to do anyway.
I know. I thought that was fantastic. I was like, let's do that. I was trying to think, what would be the worst case scenario? It was like, maybe you want to come shop for an apartment with me? Like, I know it's a lesbian second date, not a lesbian first date, but I got a little lesbian in me, I think. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Facebook for the Blind for January 17th, 2022.
Woo!
Yep.
Woo! Eric, that was pretty, like, we did a pretty good job on time there.
Yeah.
Starting as late as we did.
Yeah, we did about 45 minutes there. And how do I turn this off? Thanks for listening to an episode of Facebook for the Blind. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.